All right, so everything's energy. We talked briefly a little bit about time and that there is an illusion called time within this reality we live in. The only time is now, meaning the present moment. There's a big affirmation and kind of, I would say, idea around the I am statement. And you hear this a lot in wellness and spiritual communities, like the I am is the creator, because I am followed by anything is everything, and that the creator, source, universe, God, whatever it is everything. So it can be anything that you put at the end of that word. You also hear and read a lot of affirmations that start with I am. And this is where it really shifted my perspective and the thought patterns, as well as the way that I speak to myself, because the I am statement or sentence reflects the now moment. So we previously talked about manifesting money. For so long, I told myself, well, one day I'll be rich. One day in the future. The future does not exist.
Right.
We create the future through the now moment. So I really had to shift my mind. It was a huge paradigm shift and pattern interrupt to speak in the now moment. I am wealthy. I am rich. I am a money magnet. Because what that statement's saying, it's collapsing the time. It's saying that I already am. The present right now is happening, and the future is created through that. So if I'm wanting or needing or worrying about money because I don't have it in this moment, I'm never going to get it. And it's also reinforcing my mindset, my thoughts and beliefs around money and abundance to have a future date. It's reinforcing the subconscious belief that I don't have what I want in this moment. So this sentence of, I am rich or I am wealthy has kind of a full circle effect where it's helping your subconscious reprogram what's been reinforced for so long, thinking that it's going to happen in a future that doesn't exist yet. It brings it to the now moment because that's all that there is. This also goes hand in hand with anything that you desire or want. Money is just a great example, but another good example is health. Like, I am healthy. How many times do you hear people say, I am sick, or, oh, I hope I don't get sick? That's the nocebo effect. It's almost like the universe doesn't hear no. You're convincing yourself you're going to get sick, or, oh, I am thin. That was another one that I had to convince myself of because I didn't feel it, but I needed the sentences of I am lean, I am thin, I am healthy, I am strong, to get me in, almost snapped out of a future that hasn't happened yet. It's consciously speaking in the present moment. It really is, you're trying to trick yourself. Unfortunately, like, I know that it's weird. Well, how do you trick yourself? Repetition.
Or in a sense, you're trying to stop tricking yourself, that the opposite is true.
That's a good way to put it.
So if you think of time in the sense that we created time to make sense of our memories, but it doesn't really exist. Like you said, all that exists is right now. It's only ever right now. No matter everything you've ever done, you did right now. You didn't really do something in the past. You just have memory. Your consciousness contains like memories of other moments, or you've like experienced other moments. You have like the information that you gathered from other moments. And then our ego processes that in linear time and creates the story that these past things led to right now. That's not really the way it's going. The other, like I mentioned before, it's kind of the opposite. It's like the present moment is constantly emerging from the void, from nothingness, from wherever, from the ether. And then we experience the present moment, and then we kind of create stories off of it. So, because we have this story in our mind of who we've been, we assume that that's who we are. And then we make up a story like, I am not thin, and tell ourselves. So that's why I think another reframe, and this is why these concepts are all really, really important to me, is because it's allowed me to completely change the way that I perceive my reality. To realizing that, like, oh, when I have these thoughts that I don't necessarily want, these ideas that I don't want to believe in anymore, I can let go of them because they're not true. They're just something from a different moment.
Yes.
And in this moment, I can be whoever I want to be.
Yes, I was just gonna, yes.
So this paradigm shift for me came when I realized that I had always been, and you kind of mentioned this before, but like projecting things out into a future version of myself who was kind of like, it was like this false god I had created that was going to save me. And I had this idea that, oh, well, in the future, there's going to be a version of me who doesn't have any of these problems, and I'll let him handle it. When he gets here, he'll fix it, which is really just an excuse to not deal with any of my problems in the present moment. And that might sound crazy. It is, but so many of us do it. This is so common. I've been like coaching people for a decade. And in the process of that, I've had so many like sales calls or like meetings and like sales meetings with people who know that they need a coach or a personal trainer. And so often they'll be like, you'll go through like a introductory session and talk them through like the process and what's going to happen. And their answer is, yeah, I completely agree. This sounds great. I'm going to go get in shape, and then I'll come back, and then I'll be ready to work with a trainer because I'm not ready for a trainer right now. And it's like, this is not just one person, like so many people. It's like probably one of the most common, I don't even know, like reasons not to hire a coach is the excuse of like, oh, well, I'm not ready. I'll go get in shape first. And it's like, that's what we're doing. We're creating a false god who's me in the future, who's ready to have a personal trainer, but that person doesn't exist. It's like, it's the idea of like waiting for the perfect moment to do anything. Like, oh, okay, like I hate my job, but I'm not ready to quit. But once I save a little bit more money, I'll be more comfortable leaving my job and getting the job of my dreams. But the job of your dreams is the one that's going to give you the money. Or like there's a million options. But once I realized that the future doesn't exist and the past doesn't exist and all that exists is the present moment, I realized I needed to start taking actions into my own hands. And it's not that having that like ideal of yourself is a bad thing. I say all the time, like we need to become the version of ourselves who's capable of achieving our goals. So I have this idea of myself who doesn't have any of my problems, but he only exists because the potential that he is the potential of me that dealt with all my problems and got there. Like he only got there because he solved all the problems, not because they magically went away. And that version of myself isn't just gonna like show up and emerge for me. I need to become him now in the present moment. So the moment if I can reframe this, and rather than waiting for the perfect version of myself to save me in the future, I think about, okay, what is the perfect version of me? What did he do to get there? And what would he do right now if you're in my shoes right now? And it literally, like, the answer comes to you immediately. I think any one of us, like if you really do this and you're like, okay, like what am I like if I don't have my problems? How did I get there? Like the answers come to us. And we'll often not take that seriously, but it's like there's not a better coach in the world than the version of you that already solved all your problems. So if you can connect to that, if you can connect to your higher self, they're there to guide us. And it happens in the present moment.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love what you just said. It's so I feel like it's so tangible and a little bit more tangible than what I was saying about the affirmations.
But it's the same concept. Yeah.
Well, let me, yeah, right. Let me just say that what I was going to say is, we talked about everything is energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything, even the words we speak, the sentences, the thought forms that are either internal or external. So when you say, I am healthy, you're putting that out to the universe immediately. If you believe it and feel it, the universe is going to give you your health.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the match. So it's, yeah. Oh, I'll be healthy, 24 hours when I get over this. No, start now. Even if you truly have to convince yourself over and over. That's why repetition on these affirmations is so important, because you can't just say, oh, I'm healthy, not believe it, not feel it, and then let it go. There's patterns within our head, so we need to interrupt them, we need to break them. That's what we talk about with a pattern interrupt. And the way that you do that is being contradictory to the pattern that's running. So if you feel unhealthy or sick, you must convince yourself that you are healthy in the moment, and convincing is that.
And it does take some work in a lot of cases, because like I was saying, like we have this idea of our past, and we have this idea of like we need to overcome all this other stuff that's behind us, and it's like it confirms we have so it's a story of our life that's confirming the beliefs that now we need to change. But you can do that in the present moment. You can change it and you can believe it. And you can, and just like visualizing and like meditating, and like almost just like fantasizing and just
using your imagination.
Use your imagination.
That is the most powerful thing.
And you can do it. And like, no matter what, like you're having the worst day, like you can, if you sit long enough and commit to imagining yourself in the present moment, being really, really happy and doing the things that you want and being where you want to be with the people you want to be with and feeling the way you want to feel, you start to feel it. And then like you feel better. And then all of a sudden, like all that negative energy you're feeling, all that, the like weight of everything gets lifted, and you can truly put yourself in that state.
Absolutely. I'm so actually really glad that you brought this, because I didn't write it as a note, but I know that we talked about it before. I'm so glad, because I've forgotten to bring it up as kind of our closing here. The now moment contains everything.
Yes.
So I was using the example with you before we started taping is because with the affirmations, you typically get the positive ones, like I am healthy, I am happy, I am rich, I am abundant, I am strong, I am powerful. Those are amazing qualities. But I'm gonna go back to last year when I was like painstakingly sad and in this deep depression and grief. The I am sad took over. But I allowed it to, because I was honoring it. Like emotions, everything is energy. Energy in motion is an emotion. So the energy just wants to pass through you. So honor it. Like if you're sad, if you're really worried about a bill or something like that, allow it. What you resist persists. So just let the thought form, even if it's like 10 minutes of horrible worrying. I am poor. I have so many bills. Oh my God, do it. But then remember that the same moment you can tap into the energy of abundance, of wealth. If you're really sad, remember, allow the grief, let it happen. It's a process, it's natural, it needs to be let go of. You don't want that trapped in you, but know that there is a moment very close to it that you can choose to tap into the energy of happiness and joy. I am joyful, I am happy, gratitude, feeling grateful for whatever it is, the memories, the pictures that you have of a loved one, because I used the example of being sad. It's there. The now moment contains everything.
And I love what you said, what resists persists. Because so often, maybe every time, the like fighting off and like fear of an emotion is way worse than feeling. So if we're like, you're feeling stressed or anxious or angry about something, and you're trying to not feel it or trying to not be angry, you will try to not be angry all day or all week or all month. and you'll build it up and build it up and build it up, and you're making that anger more and more powerful, and then you have to keep fighting against it, fighting against it, fighting against it, and it takes so much energy. But if you just stop and just feel the anger and then let go of the anger or transcend the anger, it's done and it's no longer fighting against you. There's no more resistance. So you move on and you're free of the anger, and you don't need to keep fighting against it, keep building it up and making it stronger, because the actual process of just being angry for a little while, and then like you said, then just choosing to not be angry anymore because it had run its course, is so much less detrimental than like constantly being on the edge of anger. And then like any little thing happens and you blow up because it's like it's just right there building up constantly. So that might be really helpful.
Yeah, and then you get to create something different from the now moment.
Yeah.